Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. I was actually coming back to do kind of a part two, I guess, video to the communication one I posted last week. If you haven't checked that out, feel free. I'll hopefully link it somewhere or it'll be in my description box. But communication, like I said last time, is something that's really going to be core to maintaining any type of relationship, whether it's personal or professional, romantic or just friendship. Really anything, communication is always important. Now, in my last video, I did talk about the different parts of communication. So now I'm really going to be talking about different communication styles so that way you understand that it's not so much just what you're saying, but how you're saying it as well as the messages behind what you're talking about, okay? So the first communication style that I generally talk to my clients about is passive, okay? Passive communicators tend to be very low-key and very um, they lack confidence when they talk. Maybe they don't make really good eye contact. They're the person whose tone of voice is very low. They just don't sound comfortable with what they're talking about. And that's really if they even actually try to get their point across. A lot of people who are passive will never really say exactly what they feel, what they think, or what they need. And that's kind of the point of it. Passive people in general do not get their needs met, sometimes because people will take advantage of them, but other times because people don't know what they need or how they feel about something. And the problem with being passive is that in general, it builds up, it builds up. You get resentful and frustrated about things until you blow up. They're like volcanoes. They build up over time, and once that explosion occurs, usually their reaction is way over the top, extreme, and normally it's very hard to repair or ever have a decent relationship with whatever we're talking about, okay? Now, the next step, of course, would be aggressive. That's kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. These people tend to be very loud, very boisterous, which in itself is not bad. But this is where you're very dominating. You're loud, but to the point to where you don't really care or respect other people's communication or what they need or what they're trying to get across. It's kind of like, okay, it's my way or no way at all, and I really don't care where you're coming from. That's an aggressive communicator. We tend to be if we are an aggressive communicator, we're very uncompromising. We don't want to try to work and fix things and do that kind of thing. We tend to burn bridges, behave very rashly, and really being aggressive. You have a tendency to be surrounded by people who either don't feel comfortable talking to you about what's really going on. They're also aggressive, or people aren't going to be around for very long because they don't want to deal with that type of negativity and inconsideration that happens. So the thing is with aggressive people, on the one hand, yes, they do get their point across, but normally at the expense of any of their relationships. So you kind of have to find a balance there. It's kind of like with passive people, they want to be loved and kind of avoid any conflict. With aggressive people, they want to be feared, and they will dominate at all costs. They don't care really whether you like them or not. That's just kind of an afterthought. And then we have in the middle is um, passive aggressive, which can kind of teeter to either side. But passive aggressive people are passive in the sense that they never really address the source of their issue. So a person who has an issue at work with their boss, maybe they don't say anything to their boss or ever address the concerns, but they'll come home and yell at their family or at their dog or anything like that. So that's where the aggression comes out. So passive aggressive people never directly address the source of their problems, but then take out their frustrations somewhere else on people or property, okay? And the problem with that is that you're never really going to get to any solution, nor are you actually fixing the problem. The people, talking smack on social media, but then in person, you're just walking right by like you didn't see them. It's not healthy. It also has a tendency to burn bridges in relationships, and it is one of those things that just leaves you feeling stuck and bitter. That's really what's going to be the outcome of that. And a lot of times people will get tired of dealing with passive aggressive people because they're dealing with the pain and the punishment later, but it's like, but I didn't deserve that. I don't know what the problem is. And so that's really the biggest issue with that. Now, the last communication style that I generally talk about with my clients is assertive communication. When you think of assertive, think to assert yourself, right? Or to let other people know exactly what your stance is, how you feel, what you think, what you need, right? Assertive people are able to do this in a way to where they can let their needs be heard, but at the same time, they're not disrespecting the needs of other people. It's a very healthy balance when it comes to communication. You are a person who is willing to compromise. You're not going to talk over other people. Even if you don't agree with what other people are saying, you're willing to listen so you have a whole picture and a whole story before you say your point. You have an even tone of voice. You make good eye contact. You're confident in what you say because it's not meant to be an argument or a debate. You're simply just letting people know where you stand and what you need. And that's really the type of communication that I encourage people to strive to have, because assertive communicators never have all this pent up like bitterness and resentment, because they let people know how they feel. They let people know exactly what they need. And it's the first step to really what I want to talk about in upcoming videos, which is it's the first step in setting healthy boundaries and having a healthy relationship, is being assertive and letting other people know exactly where you stand, what you need, and what you're willing to do if you do not get that, okay? So just to kind of wrap it up, we have passive communicators who never really get their point across or express how they feel. We have our aggressive communicators, which are the people who dominate conversations, relationships. They're the people who want their point across and they really don't care what you have to say. We have our passive aggressive people who never really express how they feel to the source, but will take their aggression and their frustration out in other places. And then we have our assertive communicators. These are our people who let people know exactly where they stand and pretty much avoid conflict because they don't get drawn into this whole battle. They let people know what they need and how they feel, and that's it. The conversation ends there. Okay? So hopefully this video was helpful. And I really want to ask you guys, get a conversation started in the comment section. What kind of communicator are you? Do you have different communication styles for different people in your life? Like at work, are you passive, but at home, are you more aggressive? Are you assertive with anyone in your life? Let's get a conversation going, okay, guys? So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like it, share it, comment, and let me know what you think, okay? And also subscribe to my channel if you see fit. I really do hope you come back. Next week, we'll be talking about communication part 3, as well as a kind of intro to budgeting video. But just to let you know, for the communication part 3, really, instead of talking about the parts of communication, the styles of communication, we're going to talk about how to effectively deal with conflict or deal with any issues while communicating in a healthy way, okay? So once again, if you have any ideas or suggestions for videos, please let me know, and I'll do my best to work on those, okay, guys? Have a good one. Bye.